Day is something of a holiday in Annapolis. The river was jammed with hundreds of boats earlier this afternoon. I'm Dave Gandel from T2P TV. Welcome back to the Annapolis Yacht Club Wednesday night series, week number 5. Spring is turning into summer and the fleet grows a bit every week. We've got a light but promising breeze tonight, a gorgeous night to be sailing on the Severn River and the Chesapeake Bay. PHRF 0 start, plenty of action up here on the signal boat end. We're about 15 seconds from the gun. So a couple minutes after the A0 start, we saw velocity go right because they had to. We saw ramrod go right by choice. We saw the bulk of the class stay to the left here in the opening stages of this first long beat to weather. Lining up for the PHRF 1 start, about 15 seconds to go. Once again, the signal boat's a popular place to be. It is a long leg out to weather. And we have an individual recall.
Who was it?
It was, we have an individual recall. It looks like the J35.
Got a few of them, Dave.
Yes. 3 J105s over early.
35.
J35s. 3 J35s over early.
Aunt Jean part of it.
Aunt Jean in the tangle there. T-Bone called over, not going back. The J105s are up next, and once again, the signal boat is the place to be. We're seeing a jam up here, but believe it or not, it's more polite than the earlier starts. 10 seconds away from the start. Looks fairly clean. A nice clean start for the J105s. You'll see the individual recall flag went down. That was for the J35 T-Bone, who was over early and did not clear herself on the prior start. Love where Indigo is here.
I love
Indigo's spot. You know, it's a long leg out to Tolly Point, Bruce. But the starboard side, the right side of the course.
That's a victory off the line, though.
Yeah, the right side of the course is where the puffs seem to be coming from. Freedom digging in to try to get some of that goodness on the right. And the J80s are underway. This is a very long leg to weather. Plenty can happen, especially in a building breeze. Boats are trying to get right. Woo, slicing it fairly close here on the race committee's anchor road, but they're clean. We've made our way over to the Harbor 20 class, where we find Kenneth Appleton and the Brilliant crew with a fairly sizable lead at this turning mark. Hot on the heels of Brilliant is Meteor. Jim and Rachel Mead are leaders in the series thus far. Bell Carty and crew in third, and here comes the bulk of the Harbor 20 class approaching the weather mark in this nicely building southeasterly breeze. tell you, Bruce, this looks like a lot of fun out here on these Harbor 20s. Most of the power boats that were around for the Blue Angels have taken off, and we've got relatively flat water and a nice breeze.
Good thing for the class. A lot of our old friends are in here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Bruce, I'm watching it. It looks awesome.
You and I'd be lucky to come in mid-fleet, Dave. Just saying.
I hear you. Some great racers out here in this class. Back at the signal boat with the PHRF 2 class, this is a real disparate group of boats. All sorts of shapes and sizes here, but still some very fierce racing. You see a great example of the different shapes and sizes right here on the starting line. Swiss Miss, who's the leader so far in the series. Behind them, boat 49, Team Jeannot. He's won the last two races.
That's a new 349.
The new Jeannot 349, they've won the last two races. And again, not a lot of room at the end here at the signal boat. Ippon had to bail, circle around. Elvis about to get shut out. And they're gonna commit. They're gonna make it, they're good. But Swiss Miss and Jeannot here, the top of the class, really battling.
That looks like a hard place for Swiss Miss to live.
There's the start.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, Swiss Miss, between the new Jeannot and Elvis, let's see what happens here.
They pulled a wedgie.
They're getting their nose out pretty nicely.
Problem is, you know, it's a cruising boat, so the acceleration is a little longer than, say, Swiss.
Yeah, but it's there. They've won the last 2 weeks. Yeah. So, and it's a long leg out into the bay. So let's follow this one and see what happens.
Pretty far out here to the right, eh, Dave?
Yeah, they really hung it out here. We are right at the Back Creek channel marker, so the Total Mayhem is your marker to the right.
Didn't they win last week? Where are they in the standing?
The Total Mayhem is at the top of the class.
Yes, I thought so.
So I've watched a number of smart boats hanging out here to the right, and they may be the next.
Man, they're all the way out right.
They own the right.
They have bought it.
We made our way a little further out the river, caught up with some of the Etchells. That breeze has shifted to the right as we thought it might, and it is a long starboard ley line here out to the turning mark for the Etchells class. Jeff Borland and crew with a sizable lead in the Etchells class at the turning mark. Jeff won last week's race, and he's making a nice statement here. This jibe shortly after the set, the breeze has gone probably 15 degrees right in the course of this evening so far, so it's a long port board on the way in. Jonathan Forsberg rounds in second, also with the jibe set. And as we caught that Etchells mark rounding, the PHRF 1 class making their way back into the river caught up with us. And again, same old scene here, a long port board into the harbor. Not a lot of action, but the breeze is staying fairly solid. Watching the J30s approach the mark here, that righty is real, and we see a number of boats that are overstood and reaching in. However, there's some inbound current which are holding some of the guys who thought they were laying it off the mark. So it's getting a little bit interesting up there, dealing with the current and this righty. Making their way out the river, one of the Annapolis Yacht Club J22s with a first-time racer aboard. What a beautiful night for your first ever sailboat race. Beautiful look at Frank Martien's tartan starboard. You know, there's not a lot of action on this leg. It's fairly straightforward, mostly on one board, but I'll tell you, being out on a gorgeous boat like this tonight, Nice full masthead kite with friends on a Wednesday night. There's no better place to be. Back in the river at nun number 8, Jeff Borland and crew with a smooth, conservative takedown. A solid lead in the Etchells class for the second week in a row. Make their way into the harbor. It's a reach, jib reach into the harbor. Just behind Jeff, also with a smooth and conservative takedown, is the MI2, leader of the PHRF 1 class. Back in Spa Creek, final legs of the race. 2 winners, it's looking like. MI2 Dave Malkin and Jeff Borland aboard Make Mine a Double, being split by the J35 T-Bone.
T-Bone just can't stay out of trouble tonight, Dave.
T-Bone was over early and did not clear themselves, according to the race committee. And they're in the thick of things here. But again, it's a beautiful night to be out on the water, Bruce. So another nice race from Dave Malkin and crew aboard the J88 MI2, crossing the finish line off the Yacht Club Main clubhouse. Seconds later, Jeff Borland and crew win the Etchells class for the second week in a row. So on Blue Angels Day, a bit of a holiday in Annapolis, we had a picture-perfect Wednesday night race. Race number 5 of the 2019 season, a promising southerly, built up, held in steady. Hey, thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Dave Gindel for T2P TV. Appreciate you watching.